Hi, I'm Shay Connolly with GovExec TV, your host for today's 5 questions. As mission requirements evolve faster than ever, government agencies must be prepared to operate across distributed environments, integrate legacy and modern systems, and maintain communications under any conditions. Today, we'll explore how software-defined communications and rapid engineering innovation are helping agencies adapt to the realities of the battlefield. I'm excited to be joined by Jeff Smith, Chief Operating Officer of REDCOM. Jeff, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So Jeff, let's dive right in. From your perspective, how is the communications landscape changing across defense and federal environments?
Well, there's a lot going on there. Today's missions are evolving at a fast pace, and they're multi-domain. And there's a lot of technology being introduced. So there's a requirement to pull that technology in, but at the same time work with the legacy technology that you already have. And then you layer on top of that the fact that you've got to work with coalitions that are also having that same problem. And that's only the good guys, right? Because then you've got the adversaries that are jamming and spoofing and cyber attacking, and they're trying to make that job hard, right? So all of that stuff has to be worked on together, and we have to solve that problem on top of all of those things. So the key to that really is to be able to interoperate and bring all of those different kinds of things, the new technology, the legacy technology together, and do that in a way that survives even across all of those various kinds of attacks.
Yeah, absolutely. So really multi-layered challenges here across different technologies, across different groups. So what is REDCOM doing to address some of these challenges?
Well, so one of our core tenets is that we develop software-based solutions that are based on open standards. Because if you're trying to communicate in a closed ecosystem, as soon as you try to pull in that other thing that's outside of that ecosystem, that's a pain point. So we want to try to make sure that we can bridge those gaps. People live in different worlds. People live in a radio world where they're using HF and RF to communicate, and they're doing push to talk, and it's half duplex communication and talk groups. But then there's also people that they need to communicate with that live in a phone world that are used to dialing and phone features and things like that. So what we're doing is we are bridging that gap. We're pulling both of those worlds together and letting people use the technology that they're comfortable with to talk and communicate across that entire spectrum.
Yeah, and I like that you said open standards, interoperability. Those are major priorities for the current administration. So it sounds like you're well aligned with that.
Absolutely. As I said, it is one of our tenets. It has been. And as you said, things continue to evolve where those are key initiatives for today's administration, for the Department of War. So, we're uniquely positioned to work in that world because we've lived there already. But it's not just a matter of implementing in that world. We actually are participating in some of those open standard initiatives. We've got people that are sitting and helping define that and shape it. So not only are we implementing to those open standards, but we are actively participating in their development. And that's important not only so that we can keep our finger on the pulse of those standards, but that we can also make sure that they are being written in a way that meets the needs of the government and of the customers. We want to be that trusted partner that helps not only define what's going on, but also implement it and deliver it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, both requirements are evolving quickly, technologies themselves are evolving quickly. How do you ensure that you keep pace with these mission-specific requirements?
Well, we're a small company that we're founded by engineers, built on engineering principles and technologies. And so at our core, we want to solve problems, and that's kind of baked into what we do, right? We work on those open standards, but I think an important way that we can help meet the requirements of those customers that have the needs is to work with them, not only just be handed a set of requirements, but work with them, listen to them, talk to them, demo things along the way, and really make sure that we're meeting the mark, not only of what they think they need, but maybe also how we can put our spin on it and help them maybe advance their mission. Being a small company we can do that. We can be agile, and we can try to make those pivots when we need to and when our customers need to help solve those problems. Sometimes that means that we will do custom development work for companies. Other times it is just making sure that our roadmap and our product set align with not only what we think we need to do, but what our customers think we need to do. We have a roadmap and we have an idea of where we want to go, but kind of as the saying goes, plans rarely survive first contact, right? So the fact that we're able to be agile and react to our customer needs quickly and efficiently really helps in that regard.
Yeah, for sure. So we touched on a little bit about priorities around open standards, interoperability. Another major area that the current administration is making some changes to is in procurement. So how are you ensuring that you sort of keep up with those changes as well?
Well, so a lot of that has to do, again, with they're trying to procure to people who are using those open standards, who are meeting those open standards. We're certainly involved with looking out for programs and that are, meeting certain requirements and procurement needs. And we work in multiple models. We work directly with programs. We work with integrators. And again, our size and agility helps us to more quickly react to those different procurement methods.
Yeah, so really it's all about the flexibility to be able to sort of work custom with your various government clients.
Yes. And the other thing I guess I should mention is that because of the fact that these procurement needs and the needs of the government and certainly the current administration are really pushing for things like U.S.-based operations, right? So we also make sure that in our procurement, we're following up with our, supply chain. We are completely U.S.-based for our development, design, software development, support, and manufacturing, which again checks some of those boxes that are really important in that procurement cycle.
Yep. Really, it's all about getting capabilities into the hands of agencies, warfighters as quickly as possible.
Absolutely.
So we are down to our last question, number 5. So looking towards the future, how do you see mission critical communications evolving, and what do you see or hope to see REDCOM's role in it?
Sure. So I think there's a couple things. First of all, there is definitely some stay the course, right? Our role and where we currently have, made a lot of strides is in critical communications at the tactical edge in denied environments. And that's going to continue to be important. At the same time, there is a big push about cloud and being connected and connecting everything. And we can play there too, and we do play there too. But one of the things that we try to keep in mind is, back to those adversaries that we were talking about earlier, that connectivity is probably one of the first thing that goes in tomorrow's fight, right? So we want to be able to continue to push to have communications that can survive at the tactical edge in a denied environment. We think that's really important, and be able to be mobile, quickly move. So we recently introduced the Sigma Strike Kit, which is basically a command center in a box. It's a lightweight, ruggedized command center. It's a kit that will allow you to have all of your command operations right there with you. It's mobile. It enables communication over whatever protocol that you have, over RF, over IP, or whatever, or it can operate in that disconnected environment so that you can just communicate with your unit individually.
So it sounds like highly portable, like bringing capabilities directly to the edge, literally.
Yes, absolutely. We see that is a need, and people have been using our products to do that anyway in other boxes, in other kits, and other devices. So we saw an opportunity to introduce our own version of that, which will easily allow you to connect in those radios to that phone network or whatever you need to do. And it's configurable enough that it allows you to run additional capabilities on that computer as well. If you needed to run a TAC server or some other virtualized product, you can run all of that. It has enough horsepower to do that, and it's light enough for one person to carry.
Wow, amazing. So really bringing capabilities to the edge, literally.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, at the same time, the other thing we have to do is continue to look at what are the new technologies? What are the things that are coming, right? AI is certainly a big topic these days, right? So, we're looking at trying to make sure that we can bring AI into our products in a responsible manner and in a way that really kind of reinforces one of our core tenets, which is to make sure that our products are simple and easy to use and intuitive, right? When the warfighter is in the middle of something, the last thing they want to have to do is think about how to do what they need to do. They just need to be able to communicate, and they need to be able to do it now, right? So we try to make sure our products are easy to use, dead simple, and don't need a lot of training. And we're looking at ways to bring AI into that picture to help not do it for them, but make it easier and make it so that there is less of a cognitive load there. We also are continuing to invest more in our R&D efforts in general that is trying to look at the stuff beyond our roadmap and find those things that are coming that will be of use to our customers that we can start pulling in and integrating with our products.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Of course, to our audience, thank you so much for joining us and for watching. For more conversations like this one, be sure to subscribe to GovExec Plus on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.